Everyone has a place, including everyone, no matter their ability, what they look like, what they believe, their strength, their weakness, where they come from, just being a part of everything. Doesn't matter who they are, just wrapping each other up, loving each other for who they are, including them, inviting them to your birthday party, inviting them to your house, being their friend, including them in that game that you're playing. When it might not be cool, it's okay to include them. Everybody has a part to be included in. Being a parent is hard for all people. It comes with so many different things. It's wonderful, it's hard, it's gratifying, it's so many things wrapped up. And I think being the parent of 2 kids with disabilities is different. It comes with a lot of hardships, a lot of hospital visits, a lot of sickness, a lot of medical issues, but a lot of smiles and a lot of jokes, a lot of jokes, and a lot of personality, for sure. With Lily, it was very difficult. Lily was 3.5 months early and spent 3.5 months in the NICU. And she has had 7 surgeries. And you would never guess that looking at her, because she has a smile that brightens the room, her laughter. She takes every challenge. You know, she runs around, she plays soccer, she wants to be a part of everything. She is so social, and she just wants to be your friend. She just wants to be included. She just wants to be like everyone else. And to see the things that she has accomplished is amazing. And every day I'm amazed, because for the longest time, I didn't know if she was going to make it. And now she runs and she jumps and she swims and she's making friends. And that's awesome. And that's great for her. You know, and then along came James. Yes, we were beyond shocked when we found out that we were having a second baby with Down syndrome. That was very hard to take, because it wasn't supposed to happen the first time. It definitely wasn't supposed to happen a second time. But to see some of the things that he has accomplished, and to see when he looks at you, it's amazing. Like, the things that he can pick up. His empathy is one of the things that I am most proud of. If he sees someone crying, it's unbelievable. If others could feel the way he feels, our world would be a different place. That is for sure. That is for sure. What advice would I give them? It is okay to be upset and to mourn that loss of the healthy baby you thought you were going to have. It's okay. But then look at that beautiful baby that you have and know that they are going to teach you more than you are going to teach them. And that they're going to accomplish the things that you want them to accomplish, but in different ways. They're going to shine in their own way, and they're going to change the way people see things. It's going to be amazing what they can do, and they're going to teach you to slow down. They're going to teach you that love comes in so many different ways. They're going to make you smile at the small things. They're going to make you appreciate the small things. And they're going to make you be patient, to take, as my daughter says, Mama, take a deep breath. Count to 5. It's okay.
I feel like I'm belonging to new groups every year. Like, we got my child with Down syndrome. Okay, let's get involved. Now I'm like, okay, I guess I got to figure out what the brain tumor group is. I'm like, okay, now let's go find the kids with brain tumors that are on chemo. Let's belong with those people. Those are my people. We're trying to belong to the groups or the segment of kids that are like Jack. I think maybe that's my definition of belonging. we were trying to have Joshua to have a sibling, and we found out about Jack, and which was great, and loving Jack before we knew him, and then now has been, life-changing. He, it was hard. From birth, we were at the hospital for a while, for about 60 days. And then at home, just adapting to having a child with a disability and trying to just live through that. And now with his brain tumor diagnosis, he just inspires us to be just better people. Not really caring what anybody else thinks, just trying to be, the best dad for him and his brother Joshua. Jack has Down syndrome, but he's Jack the boy. He's Jack. He's Jack to the future. He's Jack Attack. And anybody he's around, they just fall in love with him. Yeah, it is Jack the boy. And he might need some extra help, but who doesn't? Just keep going, he doesn't get an opportunity to say, you know what, I don't want to do chemo today. And so.
Do you have any advice for a new parent that's got a special child?
Yeah. Your life will change, but it'll change for the better. And there's resources available. There's people that are lived it, have lived it, or they're right there with you. They don't know what to do either. Find those people, do it together. Make the wrong choices together and make the right choices. My dream for Jack would be to be able to live life to the fullest and to be self-sufficient as much as he can be, and know that he is an inspiration for other people. To just be himself and not just think because he has Down syndrome he can't do things. We're 4 years in and he's made great advances, and we don't see that stopping. And the dream's there to be there with him along the way. I don't wake up thinking it's never not worth it. I started pushing myself to be healthier because Jack has to push himself to be healthier. Pushing myself to be involved because Jack has to be involved. Push myself to be, our family, to do the best we can, because every day Joshua and Jack give the best they can. So that's probably it.
Being a part of everything, being a part of a group you want to be a part of, being a team player, being accepted, accepting others, giving and taking. That's belonging.
Everybody wants to belong, and some people belong in a clique, some people don't. People with any disability or Down syndrome, we are like everyone else. We have friends, we go to school, we go to celebrations, we go to parties, and I love to play the piano and writing stories on the computer, and I love listening to music and hanging out with my friends. I also enjoy playing games and hanging out with my family and just being me, basically.
Well, I'm going to tell you a story, okay? When we first found out Lydia had Down syndrome and she was 2 weeks old, we didn't know until she was 2 weeks old. And I kept looking at her in the bassinet thinking, Down syndrome, what is that? How are we going to deal with this? Down syndrome, I don't think I can do this. And that went on for a day or two. And then one day I just walked in and looked at her in the bassinet and I said, I see Lydia. I see my little baby Lydia that God blessed me with. I think that that's kind of what I would say to other people is she's a person first. And she has all those same feelings everybody else has. And she really wants to be accepted because she'll accept you no matter who you are, what your disability is. She'll accept you.
I don't want to focus on sadness or any negative feelings. I want people to go out there and show them the fun, the spontaneity, and just being you. Just spread the word, basically, And the greatest thing you can give yourself is peace, love, hope, and when you do that, take it with you wherever you go. I know that there are times of trouble. I know there's times of negativity, but all you can do is just be who you are and go out there and spread that love, spread the friendship, and just do you.
I have learned so much from her. Compassion, patience, honesty. I've learned how to maybe handle situations not so seriously, and to be happy, and to look at the bright side of things, even when they don't look so bright. So she's been a real encourager. Well, Lydia's 46 now, and I look back on it and I think we have come a long way. But everything she did, I was always proud of her. We taught her how to be her own advocate, and she's really is good at that. And she just brings joy wherever she goes. She brings joy. She just wants people to be happy. That's what it is about Lydia. She doesn't really want to hear about all bad stuff as much. She does. She accepts it, but she really wants to flip it over into a better stuff, good stuff. She likes a happy place.
This means having a connection with your world and with those who love you and those you love, and feeling comfortable with yourself, belonging to yourself, having confidence and self-esteem and a strong sense of the beauty of your own self and of the world.
Well, I think I'm always happy. I'm happy to have lots of new friends and old friends. And of course, I have my family here, Mom, Dad, and my brother.
Well, I was fortunate to marry that beautiful young lady's mom. And we had lost children before Melanie was born. So she was a real gift. And it was a surprise, of course, when we found out she had Down syndrome. But every step beyond that was just beautiful to see her development beyond that was so sweet. She was like the heart of our life. Her name means Song of Heaven. And that is how she is too for us.
My life, my dreams is being on stage, like theater. I was dressed up so colorful, beautiful, getting lots of their attention.
Well, we always have to make sure that Melanie has every opportunity to develop and to follow her love, her dreams, her strong interests. We don't want her to take everything for granted, which she doesn't. The gratitude that she shows is very moving.
What do you want people to really, really, really know about you?
You have to get to know me first.
I think spontaneity and unquestioning love of us, of course, but just of the world in general. I watch Melanie-Lonnie's enthusiasm and confidence in herself and the world, and it's inspiring, and it's beautiful to be able to participate in. Being with Melanie-Lonnie, I have learned to really appreciate other people in a way that I'm not afraid to express. I'd recommend that you see the best in your child and work on developing that and encouraging that. And also, a Down syndrome child is a child, is a person, and they need literacy and understanding and a knowledge of the world, just like everybody else does.
What's important in life?
Protect people, make sure we are safe, make sure we have a place to stay. Just be yourself, and if you go through hard times, talk to a therapist. And love is really important to everybody. Because I love mom and dad.
And how about me?
Yes.
Tell me, what is one thing that makes you super special?
Well, I am really friendly. I love other people. I care about other people. If somebody's hurting, I might say you know what? I'm sorry that you're hurting. Is there anything I can do to help you, or can I pray for you to feel better? I really want to be on The Voice one day, because The Voice is really about the next step of your life, able to see what God might bring, and able to shine because God is with you. And I do want other people to know that there is a chance to take a leap of faith and see what God might do through you. And I do want to move out to a house one day, and able to be an animator would be my part-time job is probably animation. Because I feel like I'm ready to make movies that reminds other people that movies can be what God created to be. I feel like living with a husband someday would be a big step for me, because I realize that with a husband, he can actually get a job too and able to move out with me. If he was we're gonna be kissing a lot and we're gonna be hanging out and cuddling, and it'll be fun. Because I realize a husband really helps with a lot of stuff with other people. So truly, yes, I would love a husband. The word love means to me is probably when you're in love with somebody, it feels like sparks fly. It feels like someone's into you, and you realize that if somebody really loves you and wants to be with you, when it's hard in life, you have to persevere. There's going to be some ups and downs and highs and lows you have to overcome. I would just encourage them to just take a deep breath in, just realize that God made them for a reason, that they all have been loved, and just persevere throughout your life. So positivity is the key. So thank you.
Tell me what makes you happy in life.
My mom, she's making me so happy, and spending time with my friends.
Do you ever get sad?
Yeah. Last year, my dad passed away, so making me sad. I am trying to be okay. I'm trying to be happy. I want to be strong. I want to be positive and focus on my own brother, my mom.
It was a shock when, we found out Pooja had Down syndrome, or she was diagnosed with Down syndrome, which was when she was in her 7th month. And I went from thinking, why me? How could this happen to me? To slowly realizing as and when I started parenting her and learning from her that this is indeed an incredible journey. And we didn't know what was going on. So we went from doctor to doctor. And then one doctor was rude enough to tell us that she was going to be a mere inconvenience and to forget about her and have more babies. And, we knew that that was not the answer. We were just learning along with her on how to navigate things. And, she wasn't invited to the play dates or birthday parties. And I thought that was how her life was going to be, or how our life was going to be. But we moved here to St. Louis, and she did have some struggle because she wanted to fit in with everybody else. And then she was being bullied, and she didn't even realize that it was happening to her. And then we got in touch with a group of friends who took her in and then showed us really how a community is supposed to work. And this village we have created has done wonders to her personality, to her behavior and friendship, and also her confidence. I just want her to live a healthy, happy life, surrounded by her friends, her family, and also for her to contribute to the community, which has given her so much. And she does it every single day for me and my family and her friends by her smile. She's the most kind-hearted person. She's become my strength. She's amazing. From how I thought, how am I gonna, manage this person, this child, to, how she's the strength for me. And I don't know how much of a parent I am, but she's definitely, a wonderful teacher for me and my family, because she shows, what unconditional love is. And, she's a beautiful person. If I had known then what, this journey will look like and how amazing it would be, I would be a lot less stressed, being more friendlier to, not in my bubble as much as, I was back then, because I was so worried. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Is she going to read? Is she going to talk? Is she going to have a job? Is she going to independent? It's an amazing journey. Having moved here almost 30 years now, belonging to a different country, a different community and culture, I had my hesitation, wondering how it will all be. But I'm very grateful to this belongingness I have found in this community here, especially within our Down syndrome community. They have embraced us and my family, into this little village where we celebrate and we share, and there's happy, there's sad, but we know that we are all in this together.
I had him at the hospital I worked at. So everybody was around. I knew everybody. And I wasn't sure everything was okay, but everybody kept saying it's okay. And then they told me what they thought, that he was a Mongolite. And I called my husband, and he looked it up in a dictionary. And that was not a pretty definition. So we accepted it. And as I told my dad, I said, God gave him to us, and God will take care of us. We were very fortunate from the very beginning. Everybody accepted him, everybody loved him, and everybody was a support to Ralph and I. And sad to say, the only place we really met some conflict, we had to leave where he was going to Sunday school and go to another church. I did not meet anyone that had a special child until John was 2. And it was a matter that we were trying to get a group together in South County and have some type of school, whatever. And there were, I guess, 6 or 7 of us. One of the moms was the teacher, and so she was that. And then the rest of us all pitched in. And I was lucky to get involved with the group, and they were known as M&Ms, which was Mothers of Mongoloids. And the name finally went away. He's happy, and nothing really shakes him up. And when he was in his prime, he was just something else. I mean, he did everything. He tried everything, and it was never a no. And he was very easy to get along with, and he behaved when we took him out. And that was one of my husband's big things, was that we were not going to keep him at home. And from day one, John went everywhere with us. And then he started working at Deerberg's as a bagger, and he worked there 24 years. He retired the beginning of 2023. And I had noticed some changes, and I thought, they were having to help him more with his coat and things like that. So I talked to him, and I said, I think I'm going to have him retire. Well, oh, no. I said, no, I know he's changing. And I said, I want him to go on our terms and not you having to tell me. So he had quite a retirement party. Over 50 people showed up, and Mother cried all the way home. The love he has for me, and the love he has basically for everyone. And even if he doesn't know my name, I know he still loves me. Right now, I'm you. And my poor girlfriend kept him one day, and she practiced all day with him saying, Sarah. And she says, what'd you learn today? She says, who is that? And he says, you. But I think that's been one of the biggest challenges, is seeing the changes in him. Everybody needs to have a feeling of belonging, I think. And I think we're very fortunate that John has had that. And I think the people that don't look at the special needs children and adults, they don't look at them as belonging, and they are missing a lot.
Belonging means to me that I am free to be the need that someone has, and I can fill space in my little way to make someone else's heart glad. That's belonging to me. Willie is my nephew. He's my sister's son, and my sister passed away tragically in 2018. And Willie has always been a part of our lives, but he became a primary part of my life after her death. I'm not a parent. I'm learning how to parent. So I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about how to manage or how to give someone, the support and love they need with Down syndrome. So I reached out to an organization that has taught me how to do that and supported me in doing that. So I would just say that it's a difference having Down syndrome, but it's a difference that we all should have because of the experiences that you receive. I've learned about unexpected, unfiltered, dedicated love, just pure love. It's no matter how wrong you are, how right you are, it's all the same love. And I often tell people if the whole world had Down syndrome, we'd have a better world. It's so easy to look at the outside, but I would say take a step further and see the inside. Because beyond what you see, there's a world full of excitement and love. So open your eyes a little further and look deeper within and not just on the surface. I think that people should stretch that word special. Fill it up with experiences.
I think belonging should be defined as a feeling of being accepted for who you are, where you are in your journey, that unconditional love and caring that people have for you. I have 2 other boys older than Nicholas, and the pregnancy was very, very rough. We weren't sure he was going to make it at all. And we did not know that he had Down syndrome. They came in an hour after he was born and told me that he had Down syndrome, and my world turned upside down, but realized that that was the right side. I don't know a better way to put it than that. The most rewarding part, I would have to say, there's so many. Seeing the joy in the things that he loves to do. He loves to perform. He was in a dance group. He loved to get on stage and dance. He is in a rock band. He absolutely loves to be on stage, rocking it out. And he can make you smile just by walking in the room and giving you a hug. You don't have to even do anything. Now, if you have a chocolate donut, he's gonna love you more. But when you're a very new parent, you want to plan for when they're 20, 30 years old. My best advice is don't do that. Live in the moment. That's been my journey with faith, is that me thinking that I could plan and it would happen the way I wanted it. It's not going to happen that way. God has a bigger plan, and I need to sit back, take it one day at a time. I still do my homework. I still do my research. That's where the praying comes in. But we never know what the future holds. And so I think that it's very important to love where you're at and enjoy the moment, and find peace there. My dream is just for him to live his best life, be happy, enjoy what he's doing, feel loved, to feel the love of his brothers, that he knows that they're always there, that they always have his back, that he's got that support system around that will love him and cherish him as much as I love and cherish him. So.
Belonging. To me, that means so many things. It means being accepted and loved for who you are, through all the irritating behaviors, through all the support you might need to grow and learn. It means having friends in the community. It means going about in your community, having people say, "Hi, how are you?" That to me is belonging. I didn't know the word Down syndrome, but I knew of it. And I remember the word mongoloid. And I also, at that time, in 1984, I was aware of autism, but not that much. So I was on a plane ride coming home from California, and I kept praying, let me have a healthy child. If she doesn't have either of those conditions, I'll be so grateful. Then, of course, she was born with Down syndrome and also developed autism. The way I loved my daughter, she was my daughter first, and nothing else really mattered. It was a personal journey, and was it difficult? Extremely. Was it challenging? Yes, but never a burden. I just love her to death. Without her, I would not go out and look at the full moon and howl. And that's pretty liberating. She taught me that. She taught me to let go of things. At that time, advocacy and bringing our children out of the closet was just starting. And I became an accidental advocate. We marched down one of the streets in St. Louis shouting, "What do we want? Civil rights." Julie had a bullhorn and she was holding it. She may not have used words, but she could shout, yes. I remember one time when she was 5 or 6, we went to a National Down Syndrome conference in Chicago. We started chanting and stomping our feet. And it was almost like a Taylor Swift moment. The ground was shaking. We were all saying, out of the closet, out of the closet. And we all had goosebumps. And the other thing too is when she first started school, and I was warned that they would probably tell us she was retarded. And yes, indeed they did. I just said, okay, but we're not going to use those words. That's not going to be in our IEP. She's going to be in her regular classroom. And so from there, it was teacher by teacher, district by district, and a lawsuit. I was willing and able and chosen to be the plaintiff representative for the Down Syndrome Association. So with that lawsuit, which was a landmark case, we were able to open the door for more inclusion in the regular schools. Julie, now at 38, through all the challenges, through everything, I never thought we would be at a point where she's a flourishing artist. And she's flourished in making friends. She's flourished in so many ways. And a lot of that goes not just to my work, but with other parents who supported us along the journey. Before that, there was this sense of total isolation and aloneness. But through it all, perseverance and just accepting Julie for who she was and letting go that she's okay the way she is and finding joyful moments in everything she does. Oh, look, she said 3 or 4 words in a row. Look, she can write her name. All those little markers that so many people take for granted. Those are celebratory moments and very joyful. Her artwork, having people look at that and say, wow, I see that time and time again, Julie with her friends when they're sad, when they're sick, when her dad was dying, when other friends we know are dying, putting her arm around them, giving them a kiss and a hug, and saying to her dad, come on, Dad, you can make it. You know, that says it all.
Belonging to me would mean acceptance and being with people who want to be around you, that care about each other, that understand one another, love each other, and just want to be together. I was a foster parent I got a call that they were looking for a foster home for a little boy who was 5 months old and has Down syndrome. And initially, I'll be honest, I was a little leery about that. But again, when I got this call about Malachi, my thought was, okay, he's 5 months old. He's like any other baby. He eats, sleeps, and poops. How hard is that? And with foster care, the expectation is reunification. So, it wasn't necessarily a long-term thing that I was getting myself into. So I said yes. And so he came to live with me, and he was just the sweetest little thing you could ever imagine. So cute, so sweet. And he had some medical issues that we had to take care of, and he wound up in the hospital for almost a month, and it was just him and I in the hospital together 24/7, and we bonded. And at one point, one of his doctors has said to me, he's like, the way he looks at you, you are his person. And I felt the same way about him. So we're kind of each other's soulmates, to be honest. Fortunately for me, it got to the point where he was eligible for adoption, and there was no question in my mind that, like I said, him and I were meant to be together. You're always concerned about, the future and him fitting in, and, how things are going to go with that, or, kids going to be nice to him or not. And so he started kindergarten this year. And, there's always concerns. Like I said, is he going to be bullied? And he can't tell me, how his day went, or, interactions he had with the kids, but just going up to the school and for different activities they had, and these kids love him. It's just amazing. And it's not just the kids in his class, but it's the older kids, and they run around together at recess. And it's just amazing how much they have embraced him. He's just pure love. He just brings joy to so many people. Like, just seeing his smile, the excitement he has for everything, in life. And he gets so excited about things, and it just makes you excited about things. Would I change Malachi to not have Down syndrome? No. Malachi is Malachi because he has Down syndrome, and that's who he is, and that's, it makes him the wonderful person that he is.
Sometimes it's hard to feel like you belong in the community when there is something different about your family. But when you see other people going through the same thing you are, I know maybe I'm a little naive, but I think if she can do it, or if he can do it, I can do it. And it also lets you see that a lot of people belong in the community, not just the ones that fit the slot perfectly. So to me, belonging is seeing what is expected, seeing what you have, and making them fit together.
My favorite word is heart, because it comes from within. My heart represents myself.
When Megan was born in 1981, we didn't know anyone with Down syndrome. It was surprising to us and also confusing because we didn't know much about Down syndrome. But I think it was probably, looking back, one of the best times for her to be born, because we were on the cusp of changing from where people were not receiving surgery and were dying early from heart defects to where they were doing surgery at Children's Hospital. And I think the attitude of the world was changing too. I think in the past, maybe people with Down syndrome had so many limitations on their life. And beginning in the, I'd say, late 70s and the early 80s, that really changed.
I like writing. I love being myself, be courageous and creative. I am strong.
Some people would tell us things like, oh, people with Down syndrome are so sweet and gentle and kind. And I always remember my second daughter, when she was 4, said to me, now, when is it Megan's going to get sweet, gentle, and kind? Because she was like every other baby. She was wild and fun and rambunctious. So it was so much fun at raising her because she was full of energy, full of humor, and full of life.
I don't really normally get sad, but when I do get sad, to a point where it gets too much, when my feelings get bottled up inside of me, where everything is not going all right, I stress, trying to be happy, but sometimes it doesn't work. I like to be myself again. Sometimes I lose myself. I just want to find myself. I like to be the best that I can be through life.
Well, Megan has never been a shy, retiring flower. She was an outgoing, outspoken young lady. She insisted on being heard, and she had no problem speaking to people no matter what their station in life. I can remember one time the Down Syndrome Association took Megan to Jefferson City, and she met with the governor of Missouri, who at that time was Mel Carnahan. And she presented him with a poem about advocacy and spoke very clearly and very outspokenly about how she may look different or seem different, but people are not different. They are alike. And Mel Carnahan put the poem on his desk, and I believe it stayed there. I was very proud of that, but mostly I was proud of Megan, that she saw people as they were, just another individual, not governor, or I think she could have done the same thing if she had been speaking to the president or the Pope. We have to laugh because we went to Italy several years ago, which was Megan's dream. And I always said that when we send home pictures, they will say, who's that guy with the hat with Megan when we visited the Pope? So, because Megan knew everybody, spoke with everybody, and was just a happy person.
Any way you want to live, just live it and enjoy it. Take some time just to be yourself. I think that's the best thing in life, just to live it.
She has always had a quick sense of humor. She's always been one to love a party, to love a good time, and to challenge us to have fun no matter what the situation. And I worked really hard with her, but I wish I would have taken some time just to relax, sit back, and enjoy. Early on, someone sent me a little, it wasn't a poem or an article, I guess it was just a comment. And it said, having a child with Down syndrome is like going to Holland when everyone else has been to Italy. Just take your time and enjoy everything about Holland, and don't think I'm not at the Vatican or I'm not at seeing Michelangelo's pictures. Enjoy Rubens or wherever it is, just have a great time.
I like to write more poetry, and I like giving my poetry to people. One heart. When you open your eyes to look at me, I have one heart. I love you is 3 words that will unlock your one heart. It beats every day. It shows the feeling of one heart.
Belonging means to me a sense that you're among those you love, a sense that you're among those that you understand. That's what it means to me. We set out to have our first kid. We knew we wanted one. We were ready. Of course, the news came that, he had Down syndrome. And to be honest, we did our share of crying. But then I loved how we dealt with it afterward. He's a kid just like any other. He's a goofy, friendly, loving kid. And I say this often, but I wouldn't trade him for any other kid. I love him to pieces. So he's always had a sense of calm, but with a laughter behind it. So there's always, he just brings me peace. The thought of him brings me peace. I love looking back on old photos with him when he was a little baby, and if there's a lesson there, it's to be completely loving, and that's how I see him. Like I talked about, the initial knowledge of that he's having that, and us not being experienced in either having kids or, dealing with special needs kids. The challenge is knowing, what to expect, kind of like talking to all the resources that are available, which are so many. But this community has been wonderful for him, for our family, just finding those things that we need. And we're just blessed, honestly. Blessed to have him. He's literally no trouble at all. Thank God. Take in all the knowledge that you can and love them as you would any other kid. And, just being there is the biggest part. And one thing that his doctors told us in the beginning was, his doctors were wonderful when he was very little. And he told us, as long as you love him, then he'll flourish. Very, very proud of what he's become, and looking forward to what he's going to do next. I would like to see him drive one day. We'll see about that. I kind of want the typical kid things. I want to see him, maybe fall in love with someone, have a good relationship, maybe go to college, be a little bit self-sustained. It's the same as any other kid, really. And I want to continue being a part of his life for good. I think if we're all a little bit more, honest and not so quick to judge, not so quick to anger, and being understanding that everybody's different. Everybody has different goals, dreams, and we're all born a little bit different. But essentially, we can be the same. We can all be understanding. You just need to have that mindset of openness.
It's a form of acceptance. It's a level of acceptance. Everybody wants to belong to something. I think we found that out during the pandemic, is that when we were separated, we weren't meant to be separated. And so to belong to something is so important for anybody. When Tim was first born, the doctor asked my parents, so do you want to take him home or you want to put him in an institution? They were like, no, we're going to take him home. So then the whole family, everybody had a part in trying to do what was best for Tim. My mom drove 60 miles a day to take him to a preschool. She volunteered as a help cook in the kitchen so that he could get some training and learning how to crawl and to walk better. And he was loved from the beginning. He was just a happy kiddo. He was always happy. And I think music, we always say music may have been his first language, because as a child, as a baby, he could be crying or fussy or something. Most children, you put a binky in their mouth and that's what settles them down. Not Tim. You would have to put, at that time, a tape, and he would just automatically just kind of, the pressure, he would just settle down and he would listen. He just listened to music. He loved music. He did not like confrontation. He did not like to hear arguing or anything. He loved laughter. I always say that extra chromosome was like a happy chromosome. He went to a state school for schooling. And when he at age 21, he graduated from there. And then he went to working at Sheltered Workshop in our home, close to our hometown. And he loved that. He'd say, Tim, what did you do today? And he says, fold bags. He folded bags. He thought that was big. He loved that. He loved to do something. Cleaned a yoga studio for a while. He did Meals on Wheels for a while. He loved to vacuum. He loved to vacuum. I'm surprised my mom didn't go through a vacuum cleaner a year because he would vacuum himself silly. So they got him him a job here in St. Louis at a large church that had a huge foyer, and he could just vacuum him. He could vacuum in there all day if he wanted. He was fine with that. We were often told that he is so lucky to have you as a family, and we're like, no, it's the other way around. Tim, we were the lucky ones. I'm not sure why God chose us as a family, because we were the ones that were blessed. He gave you a totally different view of life. And I think that's kind of what we really miss that now, in that I said life was more innocent when running around with Tim. You know, we would go to the grocery store, and even on our approach to the grocery store, we're walking through the parking lot, and he's taking off his cardinal hat and waving it to people, you know, as they're driving by in their cars. And he would greet people pushing his cart through the grocery store. And I took him to church with me, and he and I became ushers. And everybody wanted to take their service folder from Tim because everybody liked him. So he had a real following, a real network of friends. And then even the offering envelope at church, he didn't have an offering envelope. I did. So I just gave him a regular mailing envelope. And then he got a pen, and I said, what do you want to write on it? And he said, and I think since it looked like a mail envelope, he said, to Jesus, loved him. So that's what and then he put his money in the envelope, and that's what he did every week. And I miss those kind of things that were just so simple and so innocent. Yeah, we were the blessed ones. Yeah.
We all want to belong. We all want a place that we belong in. I feel like sometimes if you don't belong somewhere, you kind of lose all sense of yourself. When a child develops, it's like a target. Like, for instance, at 4 to 6 months, they're going to roll over. Well, it wasn't that easy for Ryan. So it was like everything, just teaching him everything step by step by step. It was physical therapy twice a week, going home, doing the physical therapy, even with eating, just the simple things in life that a child does. You never think you really have to teach a child to eat. So I go in one day for a regular respiratory visit. I talk to the doctor. I think things are going well. So at the end of the visit, he said, "Miss Keys, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Has anyone ever spoken to you about Ryan?" And I said, "Well, we go to different doctors. What do you mean?" So he leaves out. He comes back in, he has a stack of papers about this high, and he has a nurse with him in a box of tissues. And he said, "Miss Keys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news." And he says, "Ryan has Down syndrome." So it was in that moment that the whole room went black. I felt like I couldn't hear anymore. Like he was still talking to me, but I literally felt like I couldn't hear. But I instantly knew that I had to be strong. I said, I can't break down, I can't give up. As much as I broke down and wanted to, like I literally felt like I was mourning a child. That's how I felt. I felt like I had lost my child. A lot of challenges on my journey, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I realized it's like I woke up one morning and I realized my baby is here. What am I doing? because I had sunk into a depression. It's like, what am I doing? My child is still here. And I got really, really involved with the Down Syndrome Association. I even became a new mom mentor. So I would always tell the parents, just don't miss out. Well, what do you mean, don't miss out? Because of my own experiences, I miss out. The biggest thing that I have learned from, I call him Mr. Ryan. The biggest thing I've learned from him is patience. You have to have a lot of love and compassion. He has literally changed my whole outlook on the world. And that's just it. Patience, love, compassion. I just want people to know that just because somebody has Down syndrome or any type of disability, we're all still the same. It's like if we're all meeting somewhere. You may go left, I may go right, you may go down the middle, but we're all going to get to the same path. So if you look at people with Down syndrome and different disabilities, they're still going to get to the same path that we're on. Like I said previously, it just may take a lot of love, a lot of caring, a lot of different therapies, but they're still going to get there. I was told when I did say, well, what is Down syndrome? I was literally told, well, your son may never walk, he may never talk. He walks, he talks, he runs. He does everything that all other kids will do.